Racism is not an event. Racism is a system.
It is a
You
system.
don't just go out one day and then you in the supermarket and then you experience racism. You experience racism before you even walked into the supermarket. When you got up and woke up in the morning, you were experiencing racism.
And I want that to be clear, because what we're going to do is we're going to pick each group. We're going to pick each topic of the 9 areas of activity that our elder Neely Fuller analyzed and broke down. He suggested that each and every one of us get a pad and pencil and try to solve the racism or the race issue yourself. And that's what I was trying to do, and that's what I'm still continuing to do. And we already talked about it. The way to solve and deal with white supremacy is black power.
Right.
That's the way you deal with it. You're not going to deal with it just and just saying the word, we need justice. We need justice. But justice is a subjective term. Who determines justice? You know what I'm saying?
And to me, that's the perfect example of what I'm talking about. No disrespect to anybody, but this is just the way that I see things. When you say justice, that's very vague and ambiguous to me. And it also doesn't seem like it's putting you at the center of that reality. It's like justice in a universal sense. Why are we so concerned about the whole goddamn universe and not concerned about our own black asses? That's the thing that I don't get. How about countering white supremacy with black power?
Right.
Black empowerment. I can get down with that. That sounds like something that's functional to me and something that's putting us as the center of our reality. Justice means that I want justice because, first of all, I feel that black folks in general is going to be just toward everybody anyway.
Right.
We're not separatists and racist in our mentality. We basically deal with people on an individual level. You got black nationalists that will be cool with a white person as long as that white person is respectful and cool to them.
Mm.
We're not going around burning ankhs on white people's lawns.
Right.
So
that's a good point.
It's offensive to me when people start to equate black nationalism with the Ku Klux Klan. That means that you're ignorant. You have absolutely no understanding of what nationalism is, and you have no understanding of what separatism is, what the difference is between nationalism and separatism. Because if you did, you would not be preaching to black folks about what they should do with their anger. Right.
I agree, and that's well said. And I agree with you, Loch Ness. We are too nice, and we're too. You know, it's to a fault. You know, it was just recently, and I believe it was with the Malvo Muhammad case that they said that, we can be serial killers, or we could be. I mean, look, you're talking 2000 and something. You didn't mention though the Colin Ferguson that came on the Long Island Railroad and just killed up some white folks. That would be a pretty nice movie, just so we could see the mentality of how he was driven to kill white folks instead of turning his gun on another black person, which is what the system of racism is designed for us to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's always designed for us to turn our energy towards each other, so they go unscathed, and we self-destruct. You know, that's the racism. But like you, I'm offended when you even would compare me to the white supremacist racist construct that we exist in. How dare you? How dare you even think? Even if I say right now, I think that all white people should be dead. If I said that right now, that still don't got nothing to do with tomorrow. I get up, I get locked up by this white officer, go to this white judge. And if the white judge don't lock me up, then the people that's on the damn appeals committee is all white. And then if I take it all the way to the Supreme Court, the majority of them is white.
Right. And see, this is the reason why, like a brother had mentioned on the show, like the Camel Cambone, what did I feel about Camel Cambone saying that he thinks that the answer or the solution to the problem is the extermination of white people. And of course, like I think, like I said, I think that upset Negroes more than it did white folks. Number one.
Right.
And because I don't have the same vested interest in that a white person hearing that would have. Like, I know it sounds like, oh my God, he said we're going to be eliminated. Oh God, you can't possibly endorse something like that, can you? I don't have this vested interest in that to care one way about it or another, because my people and me are being killed right now. Nobody's talking about it. Ain't nobody issuing no threats. Black folks are actually going in the grave.
That's right.
As we speak. So I have a little bit more of a vested emotional interest in what's really happening than to somebody putting out some thought into the atmosphere that is not nowhere in the vicinity of happening anytime soon.
Right.
It's just talking.
When that's his own. That's white guilt too. And that's a lot of the things because they really know through their own concept, whether it be through a religious concept, whether it be through their own psychological construct, they know that they deserve to be put into slavery. They know that they deserve to go for at least 400 years of the shoe being on the other foot. They know that. Deep down inside, they know that. They know that.
Let's put it this way. I don't know what they deserve. I don't know what the universe is going to, what type of punishment the universe is going to give out collectively toward the European race for the things that they've done against the African. I don't know, and that's for something for the universe to decide. But I will say this: universal law, no one is exempt from universal law. When you do something, you put out something bad, that something has to come back to you. So I understand the paranoia. But what you got to understand is, see, this show is a little different format for what I'm in. For all the people that's new to this show, let me just say this offhand. I don't even deal with the European on my show. Like, if you go back and you check these archives, you will not see. This is probably the only show that you will see where I even address white supremacy.
Right. This is our first time.
This is the first time with me addressing white supremacy. And the reason why is because, to me, it's irrelevant to what we have to do. It's something, no doubt, it's something that we have to deal with. I don't dismiss it like it doesn't exist. But at the same time, our issue as African people here in North America, or Bacala in North America, is how are we going to get ourselves together on an individual level so that we can start forming alliances collectively so that we can start forming systems, because that's how the breakdown goes. First, we have to clear up and purge white supremacy and black self-hatred out of ourselves personally. Right. And then once we do that, those free-minded individuals have to get together and form networks. And once we do that, then those networks have to start forming institutions. That's how the breakdown goes. And like Ambassador said, he's for clearing up yourself spiritually and getting this white supremacy out of your mind on an individual, personal basis. Because until we do that, no organization that we try to start is going to work. It's not going to work.
No.
Because all you're going to do is organize a bunch of self-hating Negroes.
That's absolutely true. It's too deep. The wounds are too deep. And that's right. And the blueprint for Black Power, Asar, you're absolutely correct, Dr. Amos Wilson. This is a blueprint for us to take control of our own. That's why we don't spend a lot of time speaking about white people, because we're speaking to what we have to do. And we have a team, and that's why I said the solution to white supremacy is Black Power and a black nation. And having an infrastructure, restarting the language structure, the economic structure, taking control of our own destiny, and not being white supremacist centered. That's one of my big problems with a lot of people that's even countering white supremacy. Everything is white supremacy, white supremacy, white supremacy. You know, when you and the white supremacists are the smartest people in the whole known universe, and the white supremacists are the greatest, most fascinating things that ever exist. Come on with all that. You know, we have got to look at us, and when we look at us, it bothers white people, unfortunately. because their whole motivation and stimulation is to get us to get into them, and that's how they've been succeeding.
Somebody just put something in the chat room that I'm going to address, but you know what? Let's go through the points first
Let's go through the points.
Yes.
The first point is economics. How is economics? How do we show and prove that economics is another form of white supremacy, racism? How do they use that in our economics? We could clearly see that. We can see that even in our own neighborhood. We don't even control the things that's supposed to be designated for us. When the last time, I said this before, and I'm going to say it again, when the last time you went to Chinatown, went to a predominantly Jewish area, and you saw a West Indian restaurant, or you saw something, or when is the last time you saw black people in Chinatown selling Chinese things to Chinese people? In the Jewtown, selling. I'm in Williamsburg, and I'm selling the Jews yarmulkes. I'm selling the Jews the stuff to keep their little curls. I'm selling them all those products. When the last time? So we clearly see how and whose face is on the currency. So this is white money. Mm-hmm. This is empowering white people. That's why they don't mind giving Negroes money, because they're gonna turn right back around and give it back to the white supremacist racist system.
Right.
What's up with
that? So that's economics is the first rung.
Economics.
Okay. What's next? Then
we're going to get into education, and we're going to talk to you guys, the fam, to build education. We can clearly see the education, how they are controlling the books. They're controlling the curriculums. There's no black people that has the final say in what we are being taught in these public schools, these parochial schools, and these colleges and universities. Entertainment. We clearly see how we're being entertained. The people that is responsible for the Actors Guild, the people that's putting Quentin Tarantino's movie up for Oscars, who are they? They're not black. Why can't we see those films that we just spoke about earlier? That's another form of it. Entertainment. Labor. You go to work, right? Who do you work for? Okay, you say you got a black boss? Who's his boss? Who would you complain to if you had a problem with the whole system of where you're working at, the EOC or whatever? Who runs that? Then you got law. We know the law. We know the rules. We know the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. These things predated even us being free in this country. Then you got the politics. And that doesn't matter no matter who they put into office, the same tricksters run the political game. There's no Republican or Democrat. It's one party. Then you got religion. Of course, we know who all the people believe is coming to save them. That white man with the blonde hair, blue eyes, the clothes falling so gently off his shoulders. As his legs was crossed up, he's your savior, and he's coming for you.
The crossed legs. The
crossed legs. The thin one. The Christ. And then you got sex. We know that we don't even control sex because you go to any type of, they even have racial derogatory titles even in sex movies. Your mama slept with a nigga or the coon this. And last time I checked, the Arabs, the Indians, and the whites ran even all the sex shops. And then you have war. Who has the nuclear weapons? Who has all the latest technology? Who has the power to destroy the earth many times over? Not a black person, last time I checked. So what are we talking about? What's the alarm? What's all the human talk? You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So that's where we are in those 9 areas right now. We can open it up and we can get some people and we can get into that.
Okay. I'm going to give this caller, I have a feeling this is Ishmael. Last four digits, 0820.
Peace, family. It's Ishmael. Yeah, how y'all doing?
Peace.
How's the family?
Oh, first and foremost, I got to give you praise and props for your call on the Nikki Love Show. I listened to that show when you was dealing with the European.
Yes, sir. Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That was classic. And I don't know if Ambassador has heard it yet. I'm going to forward it to him so he can hear it. But what was the brother's name, the African brother?
That was Professor Momo.
Professor
Priest.
Right. And just briefly tell them the context of what we're talking about.
Certainly, Professor Momo, he's a Dogon priest, and he goes, to different shows. He has a website and stuff like that, teaching the Dogon history. And there were some parts of the Dogon history that I happened to take, difference to. He happened to bring one of his students, one of his top students, which was a European by the name of Todd, to come and teach African history on the Nikki Love Show. And it's white supremacy. It's the same type of issue of what we're dealing with right now. You get the Caucasians doing the same tricks that they were doing over the last 6,000 years. They come amongst the African people, trying to teach African history, trying to talk like us, trying to act like us. So they come with that, be rabbit, 8 Mile mentality, thinking you can come and you can trick us and just tell us anything. And some of the people fall for it. But, once you come into certain circles, you're not fooling anybody any longer. That small-time stuff does not work on us anymore. So there was some healthy dialogue and some good head chopping that went on. So make sure that y'all check out that.
Oh, yeah. And let me just say, I don't have no disrespect for the elder, but I will say this, because I wish that I heard the archive. I wasn't there on the live show. But what I would have loved to have asked is, if you really know, because I understand his point about the Africans and our humanity and how we don't see color, and I get all of that. No, I hear that. But what I don't understand is, if you know you are dealing with a damaged people, people that are victims of a white supremacist system, what in the hell makes you think that it's a functional thing to bring a white person in their midst to teach them about their own history?
You explained it a few minutes ago yourself, Paulette, a few moments ago. White people actually use our nature against us. You know what I'm saying? When you deal with white people, they use our nature against us for their own diabolical reasons. So what they'll do is, maybe Momo's intention was pure, but he doesn't understand
I feel it is. I think he does have a pure intention, but
Absolutely. But he underestimates, once you let white people into your circle, what history has shown us is when our priests in the past have let Caucasians into our mystery systems and our science, that cracker devil will kill you so that he's the authority of that mystery system that you taught him, because his intention is to be in control and power. And that's what racism is. Racism is prejudice plus core power. You know what I mean? It's not just any form of power, it's core power. So you hit it right on the head when you said that racism is dealing with systems. Once you're dealing with systems and institutions, that's what racism is. You know what I mean? That at its core. And what happens is that Negroes always embrace white people and always fall for that same trick over and over again. Because when you look at a movie like Avatar, that's what the Moors were. Moors were avatars for the white man to enslave us and put us in the condition of slavery. They adopted the ways of the white man for 700 years of running Europe. And then once the cracker beat them in Spain and ran them back into Africa, they were used as avatars to go and sack the Songhai Empire and put us into the slavery condition. So when I hear a Dogon priest trying to tell me that Africans played no part in slavery, then you're tapping into a whole different reason of why I got to get at you. Because I understand who the avatars were that enslaved us and put in this condition. So there's a reason why when we're talking about white supremacy, There's a reason why they're not going to show you the visual imagery of the Nat Turner, the Sankofa, the Denmark VC, the Stoner Rebellion, the South Carolina, Dessalines, Tucson Overture, a Khalid Muhammad movie. There's a reason why they'll never show that on a film, because they realize what the visual imagery does in the psyche of us as a people. So,
but we can't see that. But we can't see by the absence of that. What does that say? By them not showing that, what do we get out of that? We don't see that. But they will show you Tyler Perry. They will show us demasculinized. They'll show us cooning, buffooning, and acting stupid. Tracy Morgan. How many times are we going to see the same image with the silly cop, the silly sidekick cop? How many times are we going to keep seeing these same themes? That's still funny?
Right.
It's like a baby, man. It's like a baby. Like I always said, that do it again principle. You do something to a baby and it's funny, and the baby there, do it again, do it again, do it again.
Right.
And you be doing it again fucking forever.
Yep.
Right, exactly. And that little slapstick, buck dancing sidekick is something that they've been doing since the inception of audio to be on that film. And they've been running that same tired story. You can already say tab A, slot B, here comes Mammy over here, here comes cross-dressing Negro here, here goes wide-eyed dancing buffoon over there, here goes Nicki Minaj here, here's Lil Wayne there. It's the same imagery over and over again, speaking the same language because they're looking for the same effect. And as soon as you break that boundary and hip-hop started to become too black, they had to dumb it back down. You know what I'm saying?
Ishmael, I don't know. Did you see Inglourious Basterds?
Yes, I did. Yes.
Now, let me just clarify this for everybody. In terms of on a filmmaking level, the film is tight. Quentin Tarantino is a filmmaker. I would never take that away from him. But when I look at the content of that film, and I'm sitting up there going, this is a Jewish snuff film.
Yeah. He's somebody who understands. That's why Spike Lee gets at him the way that he does, because you know what I'm saying, that's a hardcore film. And that other movie that he did with John Travolta and all of them too, that the one with Samuel L. Jackson and all of them. You know what I'm saying? He understands how all of that stuff works, the alchemy involved in that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? But you summed that up right. It is. It's like a stuff film. It really is.
But people will look at that and praise that, where you have like Jews take a Jewish, basically fantasy film about killing Nazis. I doubt very seriously if we can make a fantasy film about us killing slave masters and their families on a plantation, and it become an Oscar.
Hold it, that's not even going to fly for 1 second. Once we had an artist that was Michael Jackson, and he made that song, They Don't Really Care About Us, all he said was, kick me, kite me, don't nobody like me. As soon as he said kite me, Steven Spielberg was the first Zionist bastard-ass Jew that was sitting there saying, oh my God, we got to do something about this. And he had to rewrite the song and take kite me out the song. That was just the audio.
Yeah. What about it's all about the
Benjamins?
What about it's all about the Benjamins? You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes. And he did it over and over again. There's been lots of different songs that's been censored as soon as they run it by and the Jews catch wind of what was being said in some of those rap songs, they get taken out. I like audio.
I like what Neely Fuller said. He said, he likes words defined. If you say if I say something about a Jew that's anti-Semitic, you got to first define what is a Semite. He said he has yet to have, in all his years, he has yet for any person that calls himself a Semitic to define what is a Semite. What does a Semite do? What differentiates them from being a Semite and me? What is a Semite? So I could be anti that. Come on, man. Come on with all that.
And they'll never give you a clear definition of what it is.
No.
That's just one of those miscellaneous labels that they can slap on you in order to get their wrath
and on top of that,
money.
For all the white people that mean well, you say the white people that say, listen, I'm not the problem, dude. Some of my best friends are black, dude. I mean, I love black people. I don't know how to say this to you. for those people, why do you have a problem then with a movie that would show us killing the white slave master? You don't agree with him. Surely he wasn't something that you stand for, right? You should want us to destroy him on the big screen and say, yeah, that's right. That guy needs to die.
I have an even deeper question. For those who present themselves. I have a question for the 10 wises. The people who say, I'm not the problem, I have identified the system of white supremacy, and I understand. My question to you is this. Why are you amongst black people?
Right.
Why are you talking to people of African descent? Why? Why are you speaking to us, breaking down anything? Why is it so necessary that we acknowledge you as a nice guy? Why are you in our presence? If you understand the system of white supremacy, then you will understand that your presence is problematic amongst our people. So remove yourself from our presence and do your work with your own people. Because when you come around us, the 10 wises, when the 10 wises start speaking to us, they're going to become black leaders.
Right.
And why are other black people giving him a platform to speak to like that? Because I don't understand that.
And again, those are the subconscious effects of white supremacy. Even within us as black people, we still look for the great white hope too. And like I said, anything short of a white person going out like a John Smith, I really don't have any words for you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Unless you really willing to go like all the way.
All the way.
John Brown. Unless you're doing a John Brown, I really ain't got no words for you because John Brown went there. And, he don't get no applause from me. He get a single clap. Because,
he did what he's supposed to do.
That's what you're supposed to do.
What he's supposed to do. Yeah, you know what I mean? So that's between him and his maker on the other side if he even exists. I don't care. You know what I mean?
What's so funny about us as a people, Ish? If we was in a room, let's say in a classroom, predominantly black, and they might have one white kid in the school, and he was picked on, you kick how many black people would come to his aid and say, hey, leave this man, leave him alone. He's my friend. That's just who we are. We would do that. We would defend him. When a black person is being attacked, white people collectively have a way of just going mute. They just go mute. Like they have nothing to say. It's like you say, hello, hey, what's up? You don't see that this guy, Oscar Grant, this got shot and killed. What's up with that? That's not, I don't know what really went on. I mean, I can't really speak on, why? Why all the runaround with them?
And what that lets me know is that, within their core, they're cowardly. You know what I mean? To me, I saw many people on the films that I've seen and the history that I know about civil rights. I saw just thousands of white people partaking or watching innocent children just trying to go to a school get spit on, get bit by dogs, all of this other stuff. I didn't hear no outcry from no gay people. J. Edgar Hoover was gay. And the reason why I'm making that point is that it's gay people that are reaping all the benefits of civil rights today. All of these unions that they're getting, the whole banner that they're waving, they're all hiding behind civil rights, but none of them faggots opened their mouth up when we was the people that was getting lynched, getting bit by dogs, getting, acid poured on us, Bull Connor and all these other crackers that was killing us. Those faggots didn't say anything, but yet they're reaping more benefits than we are. I didn't see any white women standing up saying, as women, we're not going to let our sisters go through this, but yet they're reaping the benefits of civil rights as well. So they were cowardly and allowed us to take the bullets on that, and then they come out of the woodwork so that they can reap all the benefits of it. And the Jews did the same thing during the civil rights movement as well.
You know what? I'm looking in the chat room as you're speaking. Somebody wants to know, how do you explain the different races on the planet Earth? How do you explain it? I put that to white people. White people has already said conclusively, archaeology has proven that the black man is the original man, the black woman is the original woman. We have the most diverse gene pool. We have the DNA. We have all this. Now, I ask you, white people, where did you come from? How did you come to look like how you look? That's the question for you to ponder. not me.
Well, on that particular show with the Dogon priest, I went into the making of the white man and where the history actually came from, and I gave them the actual scientific term that they could look up, which is Civipificus. I put it into the chat room for anybody to look it up, whoever had the question on that. Pull up, it's Sivapit, like Tom, Hecus, like Sam, Civipificus. And what that means is that the white people, they're a derivative of a descendant of orangutans. That's the true history. Whenever you look at a movie, the movie's called Jungle Book by Disney, they're actually telling you the history of the white man when the monkey's saying, I want to be like you, I want to talk like you. All that's dealing with in India. The Siva, or the Civipificus, is coming from that region of India, which is where the white man came from. They're descendants of that orangutan. In fact, the name orangutan means person of the jungle. I'm going to repeat that to you. The word orangutan means person of the jungle. White people know where they come from. You can pull up Civipificus. You can Google it right now. And that's what they teach. I'm archaeology in school right now. And that's what they teach you in the universities, where they come from.
You're right. Because if you look at the chart, if you look at the evolution of man, they never show a black man in that chart of going from monkey to this primordial man. It's him. It looks like it's a white man. He's the Geico caveman. He's the caveman.
Yeah, they're like a distant cousin of the original man, which is the black people. But they always make sure that they let you know that it's them that's coming from that monkey phase, because black people are the people who actually chimps come from derivative of the original people. We don't come from the chimps. The chimps came from us. We were already here. So our origins are different. And it was the white people that were living up in the caves of Europe and all that kind of stuff. That's all their history, the Neanderthal man, etc. Those are white people and how they came into existence.
That's right.
So, I mean, that history is really quite clear. Just make sure that you can get that information and study it, because the information is out there, and I'll be happy to share the info as well.
No doubt. No doubt.
So
I got a lot, about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 7 calls in the queue, and nobody has their hand up. So I'm gonna take that as a compliment. You're probably just listening and soaking in the knowledge.
I love it. And it's a real busy show tonight. You know what I mean? The chat room is a buzz. It's important that we get to that. We're gonna probably get into a little bit more on the 9 areas, and then get into how we can counter how racism shows itself up. But any particular area-ish that you really feel like out of economics, education, entertainment, I mean, they all are pretty... Yeah, I mean, just, each one of those, as you were going through each one of those, I was putting different phrases up in the chat room just to coincide with that. And when you deal with economics, I had put in Tulsa, and there was a reason why what Tulsa represented as far as independent black economics. That's what white people fear more than anything, is independent black economics. Because once you have independent black economics and not dependent upon them, that's why they use the U.S. Army in order to bomb and destroy that entire town. Because it was money where millionaires were being made. They had their own 2 newspapers that were better run than the white newspapers. They had independent businesses. They had their own law enforcement. It was their own independent city. So they tell you to pull yourself up by the bootstraps, but when we actually did that, they used the U.S. Army to blow it up, to keep us dependent on them. So when Marcus Garvey set up his own independent money, and he started getting over 5 million followers, and the believers started getting the ships in order to build up trade with Liberia, then that's when they had to dismantle Marcus Garvey, when he was pulling himself up from the bootstraps. So the crackers want to make sure that white supremacist aspect is always keeping us economically dependent upon them. Yes. So that's just on that one point of economics alone. That's right. And they try to keep Marcus Garvey far from they want to wipe Marcus Garvey out of our collective memory, but that's not going to happen. They do that in schools. They do not talk about Garvey. He is omitted from any conversation in schools, in the textbooks. They'll talk about Booker T. Washington. They'll talk about W.E.B. Du Bois.
Mm-hmm.
They'll talk about Martin Luther King all day long. But they will not talk about Martin Luther King, Martin Delaney. Don't talk about any of these men.
Right. I'm sorry. It was illegal to say Marcus Garvey's name after his movement dismantled, after they sent him back to Jamaica. It was illegal. They would arrest you for even saying his name anywhere in Harlem. They wanted to erase him out of the memory as soon as possible. And as soon as they got real quiet with the whole Marcus Garvey movement, then a whole nother element kind of came in through the back door and started teaching some of his teachings in a different way.
That's right. And well, you know, they have to control the education. One of my things that I say, I challenge anyone that wants to say, oh, you're just being, you're being, you know, again, all of these 9 areas, when you take it to the final door or the final level, the final say, the arbiter, the one that makes the call, the final call, who is it that makes the final call in each and every one of these areas that we talked about? And it's a white person. So that right there lets you know that you're dealing in a white supremacist structure. The whole structure is to maintain itself. They will not, Obama, the fact that Obama is the commander-in-chief in the political aspect of white supremacy does not negate the fact that he does not have any power to make any decision without the House, the Senate. You know, he has to deal with the Supreme Court on issues. And as you can see, he can't even allegedly get the things that he would like to get passed without the approval. So there's no power there. There's no power. There's impotent.
You talking about Barack?
Yeah, I'm just thinking about it from the political, because people might say, a lot of times people always say, hey, well, you got a black president. I mean, doesn't that prove
man.
that racism?
That issue, I'm tired of beating that dead horse and letting these people. I don't understand why people think that Barack Obama as president somehow translate to black folks having power in this country. Where do you get that from?
Right.
Because I can explain how we don't. What I want to know is, how do you figure we do?
Right.
How? By osmosis?
I think they think like, I mean, because truth be told, George Bush was straight Deboing motherfuckers, man. George Bush would just take your bike and your chain. You know what I mean? Like, just take a law and just push the law through on Christmas. Just, you know, just straight patriot, act your ass. George Bush was that dude as far as, you know, power and authority, because he represented that wicked power structure. So people think that whoever sits in that seat can function the same way, and that's simply not true.
Yes.
You know,
so true.
It's a big difference.
George Bush had no problem getting anything he wanted passed. There was not even a stitch of opposition with George Bush.
Oh,
right.
You know what? I was speaking to your queen today, Ambassador.
Oh, yes.
And your queen dropped something. She said that we are so far, and this is, you know, it's a slight aside, but, you know, it's relevant. We were talking about the concept of survival preparedness. And one of the points that she had raised was how far removed we are from nature and how we don't arrange, like we're used to living inside, number one. We don't live outside. We're in these structures. So when the summertime comes, how often do black folks go out camping? Just spend the night, overnight, outside, which is you and your backpack and your tent.
Right.
In the wintertime, how many of us go hiking and deal with the elements of the snow and sleep overnight? See, when you live like that, when you go to these boardrooms, you can be hardcore.
Right.
You can be hardcore because you know, push come to shove, I'm good. You want to take away my house? You want to take away this, and you want to threaten me? How can you threaten me when I'm used to living out in the world, in the wilderness? What you going to threaten me with? But see, we've gotten so used to these comforts. We've gotten so used to the running water and the toilets and all this electricity and stuff, and so we feel like we can't speak our mind because if we say something, we're going to lose our job.
Yeah.
Right.
God forbid we lose our job because then we're done.
Labor. That's the labor aspect of it.
Exactly.
The job market, because that's the corporation is the new plantation. That's the slave force. You are forced to work. That's what they call it, the workforce.
Mm-hmm.
The workforce, because you are forced to work. They've created this system where you will cooperate with the corporation, or you will be out here having to rely on victims of racism and people that's under the grip of white supremacy to help finance you. We know black people, we do not support one another the way we should.
And just like another thing, like when you talk about, because I know you and Phil deal with the language. I noticed that you see all of these terms used with employment, like position. You know,
right?
And all of these sexual terms.
Right.
When it comes to employment, you know, like partner. I'm trying to become a partner, or I'm, you know, coming out and all this other crap.
Right.
And don't forget, you know, you got workforce and position, but you got paycheck, which means that somebody, you know, they pay you to keep your ass in check.
Exactly.
That's right. Mm-hmm. A paid check, and you get this money 2 weeks. They get 2 weeks of your labor. Could you imagine if right now you was able to have a product to sell? You can get 2 weeks out of somebody, 40 hours, 80 hours per person, and you got to pay them at the back end. You can make you know what I'm saying? You can make a lot of money. No more or less 500 years of someone working for nothing.
Right.
So and there are no, I mean, what unions, you know, and if you do have a union on your job, it's not a black person. They locked up my man in New York that was doing the transit union.
Oh, really?
Yeah, remember the dude, I forgot what his name was.
The Caribbean dude?
Yeah.
He's in jail?
No, he was in jail. He had to do a little
oh, okay.
quick little bit just to show him, slap him on the wrist. You're not in power. I'm going to show you that you're not in power. You might have a title, but you're not in power.
Wow.
What kind of mess did Charlie Rango get into? Where's he going?
Oh, man, I'm so far removed from this political scene in New York, I have no idea. Somebody's going to have to let me know with that one. You know, these people, I mean, if you've been through Harlem,
anyway.
You've been through Harlem lately-ish?
Yeah. I mean, once you know, I get so confused. I see so many Starbucks and Bank of Americans all over the place.
We used to roll through Harlem. Me and the ambassador used to roll through Harlem. We were so comfortable in Harlem. Now Harlem, the ambassador, I would not even suggest you take a visit to Harlem.
Yo, for real. I'm just down there.
You might as well go to West 4th Street. Go to West 4th Street. You're going to get the same energy.
Exactly. It's crazy.
You know what I find interesting when having these discussions on racism, people that do not classify themselves as black always seem to want to go out of their way to prove that they are just a human being, man. I'm just here on earth, man, as a human being.
My question is, why are you talking to us? We understand totally what the whole human thing is. We understand that. We get it. The people that you need to talk to are your own people. Right. Like I said, I think there's a European in the chat room, Ben Carruthers, and he was going to leave. I said, don't leave. Stay and listen. I don't have a problem with you listen to what we got to say. I got a problem when Tim Wise wants to get up in front of an auditorium full of black folks and talk about white supremacy. Why?
Right.
What for? So that we can say, wow, that Tim Wise is a great guy.
No, because he's selling a product. He wants you at the end of the day to come up there and get that book or get that lecture tape or get that DVD. Tim Wise breaks down, and he was on the show. He was on the Victim of Racism show, disrespecting Gus T. Renegade's young little host, Justice, disrespecting her. And this is the guy you want on the show back every month, other than having someone like us to talk with us. I'm not understanding that. Mm-hmm. And I have no problem with Ben, any white person that wants to listen in. If you are sincere, like you say you are, I'm going to take what you say. I don't believe it. But if you say you're sincere in dealing with racism, talk to your own people. Have your own. Don't include me. Don't ask me to come on. Don't include me. You talk to your own people and say, hey, you guys need to cut this bullshit out. Let's get to the bottom line of why we are running around and think we're better than these people or what we're doing. You do that. Don't ask me to do it.
My my radar always goes up whenever, like you get people, like, say you get in conversations and people want to ask the question, what color is Jesus? And then you get, the people it doesn't matter what color he is.
Right.
You know what I mean? The people, they like to keep everything as bland, homogeneous, shades of gray, miscellaneous.
Oh, yeah, this is after 120 years of showing me Jesus as a white man. Every Christmas I've seen that first.
Yeah, exactly.
Now it doesn't matter.
Exactly. Now that you start to prove your point of who he really looked like and what this historical person really, the context of how he was originally described, now all of a sudden he's shade of gray. Now all of a sudden it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? That's a lie. That's white people or black people with a white mentality that can't wrap their mind around him being black or around a black ideology or theology. Before they admit it, they will put no face on it. You know what I'm saying?
I will say this. I got to say this, Ishta, just to piggyback off of that. I tell people all the time, as far as the whole thing about it not mattering what color you are. Let's just say, all of us here now, in the chat room listening right now, some 30 years from now, our grandkids come to us and they say, Daddy, I was in school today and we were learning about Martin Luther King. Oh, that's interesting. Let me see Hitler. And look, it's on some new special DVD they got. And you see Martin Luther King doing the I Have a Dream speech, and you see somebody looking like Ben Affleck saying, I have a dream today, and his hair is blowing in the wind. You say, whoa, 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 whoa. Who is that? That's Martin Luther King, Daddy. That's Martin Luther King. Hell no, that's not Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King was a black Daddy. It doesn't matter. It's the fact that he had the dream of getting us all together. Can't you see that?
Yeah, but how you call it, the way that I feel that we can actually counter it is just by dealing with ourselves, because there be so many people who be worrying about what white people going to think about what we doing, what white people going to say, or how you call it, just like when they get into this whole black nationalist thing, they get so much into the white part of it, they don't even look. Stop it. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
How you call it? But they get so caught up inside the white aspect of it that they don't ever look into the black part, and they don't ever look like they don't. I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure out how to word this right. They don't focus on the black part enough. You know what I mean? They don't look. They don't buy from black. They don't do the things that y'all always saying that we should be doing. They don't think about all the things that we can do so easily, but it be so caught up in talking about white people did this, white people did that. We know all of that now. It's time for us to focus on ourselves. We already know everything they did. Even people who not, how you call it, aware or think that like the way we do, they even know what white people did. But it's time for us to start thinking about, well, I know they did this, but let's focus on ourselves. Let's deal with ourselves. Let's put all that time that we put into talking about white people into ourselves, and then we'll be better off.
Thank you.
Because it's just so much. It's so much time wasted on that.
And you know, because you've been on these shows, you know, I don't usually touch on this subject. The most of the majority, 99.9% of my subject matter is about what we need to do internally to take care of this situation. Because as far as I'm concerned, you know, the only true counter to white supremacy is black power.
But you know what's so interesting, because I also, on my show, I don't really talk about this, but it's needed to be talked about here and there. And guess what? You always run into, as black people, we always called ignorant. But so far, I've ran into a lot of ignorant white people in this short span of time that we've had this conversation. So what's really good? But let's get to the. I'm going to get to a couple of things.
Sis, can you stick with us?
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to just put you on hold because I want to get these callers out. So thank you for the call, sis.
Before you get them out, it's real simple. Like we said, like in the economics, support each other. Stop trying to and demand that we treat each other the right way in our businesses as well. Try to avoid spending money. Sisters, can sisters come together and control I don't even care if you got your hair straight right now. can you at least control that market? Can you at least control the products?
Right.
You mean to tell me sisters can't come together and get a beauty supply shop and get these Koreans, get these Asians out of there?
I think we would be trumpeting weaves. If we controlled the weave industry, we wouldn't give a damn about how many sisters wore weaves.
We can't do that.
Personally, I like the natural style, but I would support the weave. If a sister had a weave in her head, it was being empowering our people. Man, please. We
can't do that. Education, reteach our kids the truth, the true history, not that stuff that's in these books, that stuff that's on these, in these school curriculums, but the true history. And the entertainment, cut off. We need to have a white out. We need to try, if you could cut the TV off completely, that's great. Try to eliminate as many white images to me as you possibly can for at least a week.
I think you should get rid of the TV. Personally, I don't see of any benefit for a television. I really don't. I see absolutely no benefit to having a television. I see absolutely no benefit to having that radio on while you in your house, playing in the background. Because what I've able to do by eliminating the radio and television, and I am on the internet, but I can pick what I want to see.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I can go to, if I want to find out about a certain subject, I can go to some place and find out about it. I don't have these commercials playing in my mind where every day you're walking down the street and you just got a craving for a Big Mac and you don't know why.
Yeah. What's on these programs? Nothing. Well, all it is enforcing white supremacy. See, I've told you before. Go start from whatever. If you got cable, just flip and get a little piece of paper, write white, and then write colored if you choose. And just put a check next to every time you see a white image. As soon as you turn on to it, just turn to it, then turn to the next one. Just go from channel to channel and take a look at the ratio of how your mind is being bombarded with white imagery versus your own imagery.
Right.
Just look at that. Look, what is that doing something to you? Making you feel a certain way. Let's get a call on. Let's see what they talk about.
Okay. Next caller, and this caller's last four digits is 1507. What's your name? Where you calling from?
BB Fahodier. My name's Kamal, calling from D.C.
Peace.
I'm a long-time listener, but this is my first time calling in. Before I address the topic, I just have to say I love you, brothers. On Sundays, I try to make sure I ain't doing nothing else from 9 o'clock to get to here and listen to what y'all got to say and keep up the good work. And I love your website, too, Olips.
Thank you.
So now regarding the topic and addressing Brother Neely Fuller, for me, and I've been dealing with this for about 15 years, so I've been well-versed in Mama Wilson and Baba Fuller. Regaining our traditional African culture, behavior, and our reality. For me, that's the biggest piece that's missing within the ISIS papers and within Brother Neely Fuller's book. And I go on record here to say I do disagree with his take on culture because I've heard what he had to say about that. And then, he was just on Nikki Love's show, and he's talking about how he's pushing for a universal man, a universal woman. And I'm like, huh? Because, I mean, the problem is the way I see it, we have been remade into black-skinned Caucasoids from our African selves. So to counter that, we need to return to who the hell we were or who the hell we are. Updated, of course, for our present day. We are African people, and on all those 9 areas, they can be applied from the African reality. We just have to re-understand what that is, update it for the present day, and then move forward. But everyone leaves out the issue of culture. Everyone leaves out the issue that we've been remade. We just want to do what we want to do with our present selves. And it's not going to work because we've been remade into other people. And so until that piece is flipped, nothing's going to change. Nothing.
I like what you said, Kamal, and I feel the same way. And unfortunately, like I said, I invited Brother Gus T. Renegade on the show to speak on that and even just to give a brief critique. I love Neely Fuller Jr. He's my elder. But I do also have a problem with some of the strategy, and it's okay to have that because that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to take these elders' work, and this is not the 1950s. This is 2010. We can't possibly say that nothing can be updated.
Right.
And that was all I wanted to do.
Yeah, like my main issue, because I think personally, told everybody, get Neely Fuller's work. You have to have that. You have to have Neely Fuller's work, and you got to have Francis Cress Welsing's work. So if we had any disrespect for them, we would not be telling you to go out and get and hear anything they got to say. So we respect our elders, but I have a problem when you define reality as white and non-white. I got a problem with that. Because what you're doing is you're putting them at the center of our universe and saying, well, you're either white or you're non-white. No.
Right.
I'm not. I reject that.
Right.
And let's put that on the table. Let's talk about, should we be defining reality that way?
Right. Man,
that's playing right into the hands of white supremacy. And like Ambassador said, there's passages in the book where he's making, according to his own words, the white man supreme.
Right.
Right.
It'll be real good. No disrespect to anyone else that's had Neely Fuller on their show, but I'm waiting for you two critical brothers to get him on the show so y'all can. Because other folks, he's an elder, so they sort of deal with him, at a distance with soft glove. And you two won't be disrespectful, but y'all gonna ask some specific questions and some hard questions that need to be asked. So I'm just waiting for that day to come.
Oh,
if
man,
you can hook it up, hey, we've been waiting too.
Me
There's
too.
a lot of elders that we want to talk to respectfully. We can respectfully disagree. We're tactful. We're not going to go and disrespect Neely Fuller. Come on, I have elders. This is the oldest Neely Fuller. I would never disrespect them, but we can talk.
Right. He recommends that. He encourages that. He encourages you to. He said, don't believe anything, and if it's not working, then you have a right to update it, change it. The first question I would ask Mr. Fuller, if I have opportunity to talk to him, I would say, Mr. Fuller, being that you never put out a second updated edition of your book, is there anything that you wish to change, update, or omit from your work? That's what I would start the conversation off with.
Right.
We need to ask everybody that.
Right.
Because that whole Dr. Ben and We the Black Jews, he's come out on some stuff countering what he said about creating that book, but don't nobody know it. And so everyone needs to be asked that question.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
Right. Because there's no holy grails, man. We're doing research. We're all in this thing together. We respect each other, but we also have to question the knowledge because that's how you can avoid being a spiritual hooker.
Right. He had a show on that, on the spiritual pimp. That's right. You can't just
you
can't do that. Got to question them.
But thank you.